Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Snug Wrestling. It's time to go over all the shenanigans that took place on NXT this week. We're recording on our usual Wednesday. We usually do NXT reviews the next day. Currently, right now, I was trying to watch AEW Dynamite Beach Break, but they always go over so much, and I think it's like 20 minutes after the hour and the main event is still happening right now. So I'm like, I got to get to the NXT review and I can't wait until they decide to end their show. So we're here now. We're here with good old Tommy, our NXT expert. What's up, bro? How you feeling today?
I am feeling good overall. Just got finished up with my summer job that I do. What I do is I just mow lawns throughout the year, get like fucking $10 a lawn for it. So overall, just got paid for that. Feeling good on it. But show itself, chaotic as always. But what I love is the fact that the women didn't just get the beginning of the show, like the very first segment.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, they got the main event as well. So NXT clearly loves showing off what the women can do.
Yeah, I mean, NXT, they always try to go for chaos and excitement and, you know, over the top, just wild stuff, right? And this week, I feel like they kind of delivered. This episode of NXT, it was pre-recorded too, by the way. I'm not sure when they recorded this episode of NXT, but it wasn't a live show. Um, but yeah, it was a good show. It went by quick. I like the pacing of it, you know. And you're right, the women were all over this show. There was a bunch of number one contenders matches too, which was cool to see because it gives us a better idea of who we're going to see face next for some of these championships. And we also learned a little bit more about a new NXT star from the women's division. So we'll get into that. That was cool to hear. But yeah, overall, I thought it was a really good episode of NXT. All right, Tommy. So, like you mentioned, they started off with the women. Callie Armstrong last week attacked Kendal Grey, the new women's NXT champion, and she explained her actions. Basically, she wanted to create a moment for her. She wanted to create an opportunity. She's tired of waiting. She's like, she just got there, but she's already saying, I'm tired of waiting. I'm not gonna sit around and wait for an opportunity. So I attacked Kendal Grey. Lola Vice, who's a former champion, feels the same way. She's owed a rematch. And Kaylani Jordan, who got a big win over Tatum Paxley last week, she also feels like she deserves a shot at Kendal Grey. So the three of these women kicked off this episode of NXT and they got into a little brawl. But yeah, we got all three of these women who want a title shot. What do you think is going to happen here, Tommy? Do you see one of these three getting a shot at Kendall, or do you see maybe a triple threat? What do you think is going to happen here?
Well, next week is a triple threat number one contenders match between these three women. So
There you go.
one of them will be getting their hands on good old Kendal Grey and attempting at least to get that NXT title. The segment itself, though, I had quite a bit of fun with it simply because of the three women involved. You've got Kalani Jordan, which she does not speak lies when she says that she's never had a shot at the NXT women's title because she hasn't. Then you've got Lola Vice, massive fan favorite in her own right, but she 100% deserves a rematch. Although the rematch clause is definitely put through way more on NXT than it is on the fucking main roster, unless your name is Cody Rhodes. And then you've got good old Kelly Armstrong, who has been shown off as of late on main event. She's finally back with the NXT crowd. So I wonder how long it's going to be before she is called up, knowing the fact that they're clearly trying to see what main roster type crowds will be like to her.
She just got to NXT, bro. Like I don't see her getting called up to the main roster anytime soon. I'm actually kind of surprised that they are using her this quick for the main title on NXT. Like, again, going back to Kaylani Jordan, who I know she's a heel and she complains a lot, right? But a lot of the stuff she says is true. She's been on NXT forever, and they're just now starting to put her around that main title scene. Callie Armstrong has been there for like 3 months, and she's already attacking the main champion. So yeah, I saw that they were using Callie Armstrong in main events, which is cool. But I don't know if that's like an automatic green light for us to assume that Callie Armstrong is going to be called up right away.
I'm not saying like right away. I am saying it's only a matter of time, clearly, because they're already testing her right after Raw and SmackDown tapings on main event, is what I'm saying.
She's got a lot to prove, man. I don't think it's only a matter of time. Feels like maybe soon. I don't think it's. I don't think it's a matter of time. I think it's a matter of. Well, let's see how the crowd reacts here. Let's see what she looks like in an arena with a big audience, other than just like the performance center. Just to get a better idea of what that might look like with Callie Armstrong. I think. Um, so yeah, I completely forgot that there's a triple threat match next week. So that's going to happen next week officially. That's been announced.
Yeah, that was announced throughout the show that it will be
Okay,
Kalani Jordan, Kelly Armstrong, and Lola Vice to see who will go up against Kendall.
fair enough. All right. Well, the first match was a crazy fatal four-way tag team match for the number one contenders, and the winner of these four teams is going on to face the Vanity Project. And we had the Dark State, we had Out the Mud, we had the Birthright, and we had Sean Legacy and DVD, which I don't remember what DVD, the acronym, stands for. But for an opening match, we had 8 people involved in this match. Plus, some of the shenanigans. We had more people get involved during this match as well. And it was insane, man. Like, I usually don't like seeing matches with a bunch of people. It was kind of hard to keep track of who the legal person was. And, a lot of people were just tagging in and out. It was crazy. But they made it work. I felt like it was a really good match. I was pumped for it. They kind of had me going. Sean Legacy and DVD picked up the win surprisingly. They managed to steal a win here. So we're going to get Sean Legacy versus the Vanity Project at some point. But it was a really good match.
Yeah, I found it kind of interesting that the people they chose to be the number one contender for the tag titles are the tag team that was literally just randomly put together out of nowhere, instead
Yeah.
of 3 tag teams that have been together for a while now. Like, I thought it was going to be either Out the Mud or Birthright. I didn't fully think of Dark State because of what happened in this match, which is we saw our boy Saquon Sugars
Yeah.
decide to show up, which ended up getting a little bit of a distraction done when it comes to that. So Saquon Sugars basically taking out Dark State out of the equation for
Mm-hmm.
this. So I did find it extremely interesting that they did choose the tag team that isn't fully a tag team yet.
Yeah. And it's kind of crazy to think about. All four of these tag teams are pretty good. Arguably pretty good, right? And they're all fighting to go up against, in my opinion, the Vanity Project, who's the much weaker team, but they are the champions. And it's like, man, like all of these tag teams are all really good, but they have to prove themselves versus the Vanity Project, which to me seems kind of crazy.
I do not care if they are just a team randomly put together. Take the damn titles off of Vanity Project.
Yeah.
Please.
So we had another. Okay, so after that fatal four-way tag team match, right, which was high flying, it was intense and it was exciting, and the momentum for the show was like out of 10, bro. It was all the way up here. Keanu Carver and Tank had to follow that crazy ass match, right? And this was a little there was some heat behind this match. This was just a one-on-one, but it wasn't a cold match. Tank is trying to get some revenge for his partner Hank, who was taken out by Keanu Carver last week in the pre-show of the American Bash. So these two guys were mad at each other, man. They were going at each other with everything that they had, and it was they kept up the momentum of the previous match, which was not easy. It was not an easy task, but they managed to do that. Two really big guys, but two really big guys that can move really fast for their size. So the match, another exciting match I thought for NXT. Keanu Carver ran through Tank, got the win, and it was cool to see Keanu Carver get the win, especially after losing the last two matches versus EK Prosper. So Keanu Carver getting back some of that momentum for himself as well.
I love Hank and Tank. I really, really do. But not once did I think Tank was going to take out Keanu Carver. It just wasn't going to happen. I did feel bad because of the fact that they did have to follow that insane fatal four-way tag because holy crap, that was all over the place. And this was the
Mm-hmm.
match that had to follow, and that was going to be a hard hurdle to finally go over. But overall, this was a really, really good match. And I do feel like the right guy won here because they're trying to push Keanu Carver as this massive Brock Lesnar type beast going through.
Yeah. And they also said that this was Tank's first singles match in like over 2 years or something crazy like that. So I think it's safe to say Keanu Carver had the upper hand in this one-on-one. But overall, good match. And the second number one contenders match of the night was a fatal four-way match. Is Lizzie Rain, Layla Diggs, Thea Hale, and Izzy Dame. The winner of this goes on to face Zarya for the Women's North American Championship. And another multi-person match here. Felt like we were seeing a lot of that, but again, I felt like these women they had a pretty good match, even though there's a lot of people involved. Uh, I thought it flowed very nicely. The match did, especially after again the opening match, which was crazy. Then you had Keanu Carver versus Hank and Tank. I mean versus Tank. So these women also did a really good job of keeping that energy high for this episode of NXT. It looked like that was the expectation for last night in the Performance Center, and I think the most unexpected winner came out of this match, which was Layla Diggs. Obviously, Lizzie Rain is a fan favorite. Thea Hell is also over with the crowd. And Izzy Dame, being former champion, looks like she might have gotten the. I thought she was going to get the win, but it was Layla Diggs out of all people. And I thought that was a great look for her. It was a great win. She hit her finisher. She hits a pretty nice moonsault, and she's going to go off to face Zarya next.
Which I do also find extremely interesting because I thought they were either going to go with Izzy Dame or Lizzie Rain. That's what
Mm-hmm.
I thought, especially with how over with the crowd Lizzie Rain is. That's who I thought they were going to go with. But I am also a little bit shocked that they went with Diggs. But then again, they kind of have to justify this faction with Natalia and Nikki. God, why the hell am I not remembering her name? She goes by the Lioness from time to time.
Nikita.
Yeah, with Nikita. So they kind of have to justify having that faction. So having her be the number one contender, I do not see her winning. I absolutely see Zarya running through her like there's no tomorrow. But at the same time, it does make sense why she is the number one contender, especially with someone as massive as Natalia being behind her, especially as well with Natalia being in the main event for that NXT title.
Yeah. And it's interesting that what they're doing with Layla Diggs, because she is part of that faction with Nattie and Carmen Petrovich, Nikita Lyons, who are all heels, right? But Layla Diggs seems to be the only one with some like compassion. She doesn't really like doing the heelish things that the rest of them do. So the fact that she got the number one contenders match, I think it's gonna give Layla Diggs a lot of attention because she kind of stands out in that faction, and I think she's gonna win the NXT crowd over very very soon. So hopefully she has a really good match versus Zarya whenever that happens. Because I think Layla Diggs, there's something really interesting that they're starting to do with her. So we'll see what happens with that. All right, Tommy. Anything else about this one before we move on?
Just the fact that I was a little bit shocked as well, and this kind of pushed me towards Lizzie Rain even more on her winning, even though she didn't. So the fact that Lizzie Rain had the majority of the offense throughout this entire match. She was on top of it, putting Izzy in the corner and then putting Lizzie on top of that, on top of her, and chopping
Yeah.
her as well. So that I was a little bit shocked with.
Yeah, they beat the crap out of each other for sure. Um, well, let's talk about more about the women's division because formerly known Nikki Blackheart, they played a video package for her. So she showed up last week and attacked Tatum Paxley. We didn't see Nikki Blackheart last night on NXT, but they showed a video package and they announced her new WWE name, which is Reina Volcan, which translates to, I think Reina is like Queen. Yeah, Queen Volcano, which sounds pretty cool, right? I don't know much about Reina Volcan, aka Nikki Blackheart. I learned last night that she's bilingual. She speaks Spanish, and as soon as I heard that, I thought, oh, AAA, that would be great to see her show up on AAA. She just got to NXT, but having this AAA partnership, we could see her show up down there on AAA, and that can be exciting. So yeah, that was a pretty big announcement. Reina Volcan officially part of NXT.
Yeah, as great as that new name is, I'm just gonna keep calling her Blackheart because I cannot fully say that name without something going wrong. So
Reina Volcan. Try it with me, Tommy. Reina.
at that point, I'm just gonna call her Reina,
Reina.
and then it's like Vorkan is
Vol Volcan.
Volkan. Okay,
There you go.
there we go.
Reina. Now
So
say it together. Say it with me. Reina
Reina
Volcan.
Volkan.
There you go. Yep.
There we go. Got it right this time. Because in my head, it's been all over the place since I saw this. But her attacking, was it Tatum?
It was.
Yeah, her attacking Tatum again, I find extremely interesting because of the fact that both of us thought that Tatum was gone. We
Yeah.
thought like her last match was at that PLE. That's what we all thought. But we were wrong. So she's not called up yet, even though she absolutely deserves to be. But it's going to be very interesting to see what in the world they do with her.
Yeah. My guess is the North American title scene because she showed up in the main event where we had the champions, Zarya, and at the time, I believe, who t- it was Lola Vice teamed up with Tatum Paxley, I believe, right? And then it was
Yeah,
Zarya and was it Izzy Dame? I don't remember who teamed up with
I think
Zarya
it might
last
have
week.
been. I think it might have been Izzy.
And Reina Volcan showed up during that match and attacked Tatum Paxley, who was feuding with Zarya. So I'm guessing that's what they're gonna do with Reina Volcan, which I'm all for that. If this leads to Reina Volcan versus Zarya, I would watch that. I would be down to watch that.
I wouldn't mind that, especially with the size that Reina has.
Yeah. All right. Speaking of the Vanity Project, we heard from them. They interrupted our good friend Tavion Heights, who was cutting a promo about Miles Bourne, his old friend, admitting that Tavion Heights has been jealous of Miles Bourne, but he wanted to apologize to Miles, but instead the Vanity Project came out and basically they attacked Tavion Heights. But Miles Bourne came out for the save, and it looks like Miles Bourne and Tavion Heights are back on the same page after their big match at the Great American Bash. It looks like water under the bridge, and they're buddy old pals once again.
Which is good, especially with how good of a tag team those two actually are. When they're on the same page and they're on the same side, I wish anybody luck because those two are phenomenal as a tag team. So the Vanity Project better look out. But what I find very interesting about this is which one was cutting the promo for the Vanity Project? I forget which one.
Jackson Drake.
Okay, yeah, it was Jackson. So he kept bringing up a bunch of what ifs. Like, if it wasn't for Miles Bourne, I would have been in that title match. Which, honestly, we both said would have been the better option. But then again, Tavion Heights versus Miles Bourne was a damn good match between the two of them. So, overall, it could have gone either way. But I still feel like Jackson Drake should go up against Miles at some point, even if it's not for that title.
Yeah, I think we're gonna get that match, dude. I mean, Jackson Drake has been winning a shit ton of matches, like almost all of his matches. He even defeated Mason Rook last week or the week before. So yeah, if someone deserves a shot, I think that's what's next for Miles Bourne is Jackson Drake, right? Because they didn't have another number one contenders match for that, did they? No.
No,
So yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what they're going to be setting up here pretty soon. And we could also get Miles Bourne and Tavion Heights team up versus a Vanity Project as well.
that I wouldn't mind, but Vanity Project better lose. I'm just saying. Because
Yeah, for sure.
overall, between the two teams, Miles and Tavion are so much better than the Vanity Project. I will gladly
Yeah.
put that out.
Yeah, most definitely. Well, we had a singles match between Niko Vance and Shiloh Hill. This is the first time I've seen Niko Vance in a singles match. He is part of the Culling. He was in a tag team with Sean Spears, but they turned on him last week, and now it's just Niko Vance and Izzy Dame from the Culling. And this whole entire match, I was expecting two things. Shiloh Hill, who's the fan favorite, who wins most of his matches, who NXT seems to be wanting to put over a lot lately. I thought he was going to win for sure. And I was expecting Shawn Spears to show up during the match and cost Niko Vance the match. And none of those things happened. Niko Vance defeated Shiloh Hill thanks to Tristan Angels, who showed up during the match and distracted Shiloh Hill. So that's still happening. That's still a thing. Tristan Angels and Shiloh Hill are not done yet. And Niko Vance got a big win, big singles win. And it wasn't until after the match, but Shawn Spears did show up and hit Niko Vance with the steel chair, standing over him to finish off this match in this segment. But I like Niko Vance, man. You know, he has a great look. He's a beast. He's a monster. He's a great athlete. So it was cool to see him in some singles action and also get the win.
You also forget to describe how the distraction happened. Tristan Angels decided it would be a great idea to grab the tooth, just grab that entire thing that Shiloh takes out of his mouth. Yeah, Tristan Angels had a glove on. He made sure of that. And it just grabbed that tooth and started waving it around in the damn air like it was some sort of trophy. So
Yeah,
that's
I didn't
how
forget
that
to
distraction happened.
yeah, I didn't forget to mention it. I just block it out of my head because I think that whole tooth thing is a little ridiculous, but that's just me.
Then again, the tooth thing is also what gets him in the zone, is him popping that sucker out. And that's what makes it so damn good, is the fact that just something as simple as that pops a crowd like there's no damn tomorrow, dude. But
Yeah.
this match, I also did expect Shawn Spears to show up during the match, especially with how they turned on him. But that was not the case. He ended up pulling a Seth Rollins and taking a chair to the back of Niko right after the match. So that I found very interesting. So it's very, very clear that Niko and Spears are in a massive rivalry, and I cannot wait to see where the hell that goes.
Yeah, for sure. All right. The main event, Kendal Gray's very first NXT Women's Championship title defense was versus none other than the veteran Nattie. Not Natalia, Nattie, who's a more dangerous Nattie, who is a ass kicker Nattie, who is just a beast, right? So this was going to be one hell of a test for Kendal Gray. Can she defeat this veteran, this machine that is Nattie, right? And yeah, Nattie took Kendal Gray to the limit, but Kendal Gray defeated Nattie, which is a huge win for Kendal Gray, not just because she defeated Nattie, it's her first title defense. And Booker T said it best, you never forget your first, right? So it's a pretty big deal that someone like Kendal Gray, who's new, who's on NXT, who's up and coming, on her first title defense, defeating someone like Nattie is a great look for her. And she pretty much showed that she can hang with the big girls. But I thought this main event was great.
It is a phenomenal look, for damn sure. I mean, you basically can say that she has beaten a massive legend, I believe Hall of Famer, if I'm correct. If she's not in the Hall of Fame, she sure as hell is going to be eventually. So you can say that she has beaten a either current or future Hall of Famer in Natalia. And with everything that Nattie has done in the past for this business, for her to be here in the first place, this was one hell of a match. And I absolutely loved it, simply because of like how high paced it was in the very beginning. They did not hold anything back with this. It was right off the bat. As soon as that bell rang, well, we're going to grapple the shit out of each other. And that's exactly what happened. Holy shit. This match was absolutely insane.
Yeah, it was a great match. I liked it too a whole lot. Um, because Nattie is such a good heel, man. She was able to get a lot of heat, and obviously the fans love Kendall, so that worked. You automatically gravitate to Kendall. You want to see her win and defeat Nattie, and Nattie made Kendall look like $1,000,000, man. This was excellent, I thought. And then after the match, we had a stare down with Kendal Grey being surrounded by Callie Armstrong, Kaylani Jordan, and Lola Vice. And outside of the ring was Jada Parker and Nattie staring each other down. So that's another good match that I want to see. So yeah, it was a good way to end this episode of NXT, I thought.
Yeah, with two possible matches all of a sudden, right there in our faces, we've got the three opportunities there for the NXT title with Lola Vice, Kalani Jordan, and Callie Armstrong. And then you've got that other match with Jada Parker and Natalia, in which, yes, those two happened before, but at the exact same time, that was still one hell of a match between Jada Parker and Nattie the first time they went at it. And I have a feeling like this second time they go at it, Jada Parker's got it.
Oh yeah, that's a good point. Yeah, that's another match I can't wait to see right there. Their first match was really good, so yeah, hopefully they run that shit back soon. But yeah, man, that was NXT for this week. Overall, dude, it was an exciting episode of NXT. I felt like they really kept the momentum going really high. The matches were exciting. They were good. We got some number one contenders. We got some title matches set up. Next week, we got another number one contenders match. So things are popping off on NXT, right?
Oh, yeah, it is absolutely insane with NXT. Yes, it is chaos galore, but this is definitely a show that you are going to want to watch.
All right. Well, with that being said, we'll see what happens next week, and we will be back again to go over all of that. And we'll see you this weekend for Friday Night SmackDown. And until next time, Tommy, let's get out of here.
Ladies and gentlemen, that was this episode of the Snug Wrestling Podcast for our NXT review. You can catch us every Monday right after the show for Monday Night Raw. Every Wednesday for this here for NXT. Every Thursday for that one-on-one TikTok live between our glorious leader Snug and Mr. Blood, where they go through current and relevant wrestling topics while also going through your fan questions as well. And now we've also moved Friday Night SmackDown to Sunday as well to line up with everything else that we've got going on. You can get your merch at tpublic.com/snug_wrestling. That is teepublic.com/snug_wrestling. Stay safe, stay savage, and stay snug. That was one time for the one time. 4 letters, one word. Yeet.